All right, let's take a look at the dailies now and to start off with the Daily Nation. How fraudsters run public service. That's the main story on the front page of the Daily Nation this morning. And they say that official investigations continue to expose how many Kenyans, either out of desperation or greed, are cheating their way into the civil service with fake academic papers. Even more worrying is that some of these officers with bogus credentials are rising to leadership positions in state agencies. Such as the anti-graft agency has recovered millions of shillings from convicted officers. It says that a 2023 report by the Kenyan National Qualifications Authority, a state agency that vets academic certificates, found that nearly 250,000 civil servants had fake certificates. Out of the 28,000 cases forwarded to the National Examination Council by 91 public institutions, at least 1,280 certificates were confirmed to be forgeries. State corporations accounted for about 70% of the forgeries, and another 787 public offices out of a total of 29,000 across 195 ministries, departments and agencies who underwent authentication were found to have secured employment, promotion and redeployment using fake documents. This is not the first time we're seeing such a story. Looks like it's something that is still ailing the public service sector, that fraudsters are running public service with fake documents. That as long as you do some ukarabati somehow to your certificates, 1, 2, 3, to your university certificate, and then to your high school certificate, then you can get a job in the public service as long as you know how to do it. That is what the story is talking about. Because if we're looking at a very big number here, 250,000 civil servants who had fake certificates. 250,000 is a very big number.
That's a huge, eye-popping figure there.
It is. This story has been covered on page 4 and 5. Maybe really there's something that needs to be done now, because we've been talking about this time and time again. It looks like whoever is supposed to take action is not doing what they're supposed to do. Yeah. So
indeed, and I think we had this particular discussion last week,
yes,
where we were questioning, is this also within the remit of the Kenya National Qualifications Authority, that all the certificates should be, passing through to sieve them and try and scrutinize them, just some forensic audit, because some of them, they're running through or they're being printed here at River Road. And they actually, the real, can I say, it just looks like the spitting image of the original.
Yeah.
You can't really tell unless you have a forensic audit, to try and analyze and see whether this is actually a fake certificate. That's what they're doing. So I wonder if that is the right authority to carry out investigations, because I think this is unfair.
Yeah.
But we've seen the court sometimes taking people who have committed this offense and crime and finding them, and you have to backdate the salaries that you've been paid to pay back to the company that you've been stealing from, because this is thievery.
It is.
Yeah, this is thievery.
It is. And actually the interesting part today is that we have a list of shame. The names have been mentioned right here on the inside pages. Page 4, they're all here, and you've mentioned something about the courts are now doing something about it. There's one, Felix Ojwang Balamu, is an employee of the Nairobi City Water and Sewage Company.
Okay, let's just...
He was fined a total of 8.5 million shillings.
8.5 million shillings. How long had he worked there? What indicated?
It's not mentioned, but they say he was found guilty of using a forged KCSE certificate to secure employment. KCSE certificate. Now imagine if you found... Let's
mention them.
Yes.
Yeah, quickly, because this is a huge... There are people who have qualified for these positions, but they are not getting jobs yet. There are people who have not worked hard in school, and yet they are sitting pretty in some of his offices, right? Caroline Sabiri Manyange.
Stand up.
You're a manager for boundaries delimitation. Actually, at IABC.
Imagine.
Arrested and arraigned over forged Masters of Arts, Population Studies.
Wow.
Degree certificate. Caroline Sabiri Manyange.
Congratulations.
Right? You, of course, been listed here in the list of shame. Charles Ekai Erukundi used a fake Bachelor's of Science in Information Technology degree to land the role of Deputy Director, Resource Mobilization in Turkana County Government. Also, you've been mentioned here. Kenneth Kiplangat Tonui used forged Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education to secure employment at the Independent Electors and Boundaries Commission. There's something at the HR of IBC that needs to be scrutinized as well. Joseph Kihara Kaburungu, a sports supervisor at the Nairobi City Water and Sewerage Company, forged a diploma certificate in sports science management from Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. Those certificates are meant to be serialized, right? Okay, we have Stacy Mwikali Mbati, ICT officer at the Nairobi City Water and Sewerage Company, who used a forged Bachelor of Information Technology degree, which she falsely claimed was issued by GOtv. Felix Ojuang Balamu.
That one. That one. That
you want
fine.
to read that out?
That one.
Yeah, that one is what you read?
Yes.
And then we have Dennis Thuo Kimani, forged his academic certificate to secure a job at the Supply Chain Management Officer at the Rural Electrification and Renewable Energy Corporation. Supply chain is where it is my forte as well. And I trained very hard, actually, to be also a member of the Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply. It is not a mean fate that you can just, swing into it like with fake certificate.
Yes.
Oh my God. You fail, you do your receipts until you get, your professional certificate at the end of the day. That is Dennis Thuo Kimani. Halkano Dabasus forged a diploma in community development and social work and a KCAC certificate from the NEC.
Wow.
Hey. Eunice Ngima Gashugi, still you're a supply chain management officer at REREC, forged an academic certificate to secure employment at the agency. Still on supply chain.
Yes.
I wonder, we have the Kenya Institute of Supply Management. How then did she also become a member? Did they scrutinize her certificate? Jefferson Kimemia Minor, employee of REREC.
REREC is notorious. REREC
and IBC. We need to maybe to retool you again. The HR of REREC and IBC. If these are, no wonder maybe we have cases. At least I didn't see anyone in the supply management in IBC. We've having issues to do with the procurement processes that are being floated. When you're talking about propriety, process propriety. Do you follow the main requirements, procurement rules that is there at the end of the day? And we can see all this has been happening with the mathematics, so they wait until the close of time, when things are really dire, that, because of concert, we didn't have any lead time, we had to just have to single source. Of course, that is allowable when, you don't have any time for making sure that you can actually put out the biddings as well. All right, that is the list of fraudsters this morning. Fraudsters, and that is just a bit of it. They've taken our time because they're fraudsters. But it is good for Kenyans to know. If your friend is in IBC, and we've mentioned those names as well, tell them to style up. Tell them to repent for the good Lord to forgive them, because that is thievery. Absolutely. That story about floods, it has been covered on the top strips, page 2 and 3. Floods wreak havoc again. Yes. Poll dispute inside the 2007 state operation to keep Kibaki in State House is a special feature on page 12. And that's the Daily Nation this morning. You have the... we have a standard up next, which is headlining Under Fire as a splash today. And you have the face of the Chief Justice there, Martha Koome, captured bench. That's the question that we have as a kicker there. The judiciary, once hailed as fiercely independent after the enactment of 2010 Constitution, now found itself at a crossroads as critics accuse it of increasingly bending to the whims of the executive, a pattern of controversial rulings, ignored court orders and the transfer of judges whose decision rattled the state, is raising fears that the presidency is tightening its grip on the courts. That is what we have there. And we have Patricia Buyeshe Angaya, right, who's a legal scholar at Kabrak University. She says that when a judge is transferred before delivering a judgment, the succeeding magistrate or judge must often start the case anew, a principle known as de novo. This resolution in delayed justice for litigation this results in delayed justice for litigants who may have been waiting for years for a resolution. De novo, right? At least I have a new word there in my English vocabulary, though this is, they say it is it Latin? Or it should be. Yes, still on the Standard, you want to also read about the uproar as the Shah dishes jobs to only 2 tribes. When you're talking about inclusivity, we had the NADCO report there. We have different factions who say, we don't really have the face of Kenya. So 2 tribes, who are they? Of the 116 shortlisted candidates, 61 are drawn from Somali and Kalenjin communities. Somali. We know who is the cabinet secretary there. Some communities, including the Teso, Samburu, and Maasai, did not appear on the short list. That's on page 2 of the Standard today. And the
CEO is also Somali, CEO Shah. You know him? The CEO Shah, I've forgotten his name, but Mohammed somebody is his name.
I thought it was, what is her name again? Mwangangi. She's not Mwangangi, Shah?
Let's just confirm.
Okay, it is Mwangangi, unless
it
maybe
she...
Right, as you're looking up for that, we have page 10 of the Standard, Sifuna 2027 dilemma, run alone or create an alliance with Gachagua, what we were just discussing. The decision on which way his Linda Mwananchi faction will go is what will make or break him. The opposing headline positions by some members on how to relate with the former deputy president. All that's spread there on page 10 is what you want to read. Final fallout, ODM faction to hold 2 parallel conventions as well. That is on page 10, a sidebar story there. A showdown is looming in ODM after a faction allied to party secretary. Right, that is the Standard.
All right, just to clarify, Shah chairperson, CEO rather, is actually Dr. Mwangangi. The one I was talking about is the board chairperson, Abdi Mohamed, the board chairperson, right. Taifa Leo, Kenya ni mateka, upinzani anasema pambano kwamba viongozi wa upinzani wadai kuwa viongozi wenye ushawishi wanatumia mamlaka yao kunyakua mali za watu binafsi, mashirika yenye faida na hata biashara za umma kwa manufaa yao kibinafsi. Habari kamili katika ukurasa wa 2. Gachagua, Kalonzo na Wamali wadai watu wenye mamlaka wameteka taasisi na sekta muhimu za uchumi. Vidokezo zaidi, Arsenal karibu kuvunja mkosi, Man U yang'aa. Kikosi cha Teta chapanua pengo hadi alama 9 kileleni, ligi ikisalia na mechi 7 pekee kukamilika. Arsenal on top of the table. Mbai aeleza tukio la kura tata la mwaka 2007. Mvua ya laana yazidi kutesa nchi ni habari nyingine katika ukurasa wa 2. Na kule juu, Trump aomba msaada kupiga Iran. Ayasihi mataifa rafiki kumsaidia kuzuia Iran kutatiza usafiri wa Hormuz. Na Ruto aingilia mzozo wa Joho na UDA. Ahimiza wafuasi wa UDA eneo la Pwani kukomesha uhasama na kukumbatia umoja. Gazeti la Taifa Leo.
Right, we could check up the Business Daily. Kenya avoids IMF loans after Eurobond stake sells. Is what is a splash today. Safaricom, Kenya Pipeline IPO deals boost coffers. IMF team expect another round of talks in April. That story, you can follow it on page 2 of the Business Daily this morning. And also, shareholder fights Rock Credit Bank on Nyachai ties. That story, you have it also on page 2 of the publication today. On the ticker, just to prime you, we have 785 companies exit NSSF in 2 years as operation cost bites. And also KCB books 3.1 billion shillings gain from sales of National Bank. And Unity Trust investor crossed the 3 million shillings on page 14 of the Business Daily. Pick up your copy to get all the wiser as far as biashara is concerned.
All right, the Star this morning talks about Tanzanian tycoons pour billions into Kenyan businesses. Rostam Azizi recently acquired controlling stake in Nation Media Group. The story is still hitting headlines since last week. It's what they're talking about on the inside pages of the Star this morning on page 4 and 5. Other quick headlines here. This year's rally edition shifts fully to the Great Rift Valley. That's the safari rally. We see there President William Ruto gifting the winner. This is Takamoto Katsutsa, a Japanese driver who, of course, won the safari rally that culminated yesterday.
Right, he wanted the fire. He's a Takamoto guy and he scoped it. I mean, he was on fire. And we watched him ban.
All right, on the top strip, Sifuna team announces parallel NDC to counter Oburu-led convention. That's another story in page 12. That's the Star. Fresh, independent, different. What's the People Daily talking about this morning? It's bringing to light the conversation about NGCDF, that debate whether it should operate as it is, whether it should continue or not. If you could just have that on the screen. Yes, Bursary scandal, there we have it. It's a shame of how
2.1 billion shillings.
You can see it?
Uncollected, right? That is what I could just see a snippet of it. That is a business daily, and of course that Bursary, as we know, a lot of scandal has been circulating around it. We don't need to belabor the point. You can grab a copy of business daily. That
story is on page 4. Says shame of how 2.1 billion shillings uncollected and presented in stale checks that could have fully sponsored over 18,500 learners went to waste. So basically, they're saying that how that those bursaries distributed are not free and fair, that this has been politicized a lot. On the top strip, Naivasha traders push for safari rally hosting rights extension, and finally bench that decides how prepared is Supreme Court ahead of 2027 polls. Just tying to what the Standard is also talking about this morning, under fire.
Under fire.
The chief... Martha Koome is there on the top strip. Let's take a look at the caricatures now this morning. The Star